Welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam Smith, and today in this game unboxing video, I'm checking out Deliverance from Lowen Games. In Deliverance, you take on the role of an elite angelic warrior in the army of heaven. Since the victory on the cross, you have hunted the fallen angelic princes. Once your faithful brethren, they now lead Satan's forces of darkness in a bitter war against the humans, bent on corrupting every last soul. In a bid to end their reign of chaos, you have planned a daring mission into one of their great strongholds, the seemingly quiet human city of Fallbrook. Armed with your weapons, courage, and your God-given angelic powers, you and your faithful allies must overcome legions of demons to slay their leader. But be watchful, for the darkness of the mortal world seems to be spreading into the spiritual realm as well. So without further ado, let's flip this game over, take a look at the opposite side of the box, and we'll dig inside and I'll show you all the components. On the back of the box, you get to see how the game looks when it's on the table. It also shows miniatures as well, shows a full list of components, and of course is solo playable. It plays in 1 to 2 hours. It states here, additional flavor text beyond what I just read. Since the victory on the cross, you have hunted the fallen princes that have led the demonic hordes from the shadows. And after centuries of tracking, you have found a hotbed of activity in the unassuming town of Fallbrook. Now a strange darkness sits heavy upon the town, and the quiet cry for deliverance is heard among the humans. You tighten your grip on your blade and review your plan of espionage once more. For the father of lies is cunning. What demonic conspiracy hides within this town? Choose your hero and act as the hand of God against the forces of darkness controlled by the game itself. Blessed with the stewardship over heavenly relics and holy powers, unleash your God-given gifts to defeat demonic foes, cast down the darkness, and deliver the saints from evil through an epic campaign of a 1 to 2 hour skirmish, perfect for game night. And it's that skirmish mode I'll be showing you when we get into the showcase. You can also play this as a campaign. When you first open up the box, there's a couple punch boards you'll run into. We'll take a close look at these in a second. You'll also find the rulebook, which we'll dive into first. Inside the rulebook, we have a table of contents. We also have the full list of components. I'll be showing all of these components up close in a little bit. Moving on, we have some flavor text here on the left. The object of the game is listed out. It says Deliverance is a cooperative adventure that unfolds over multiple battles between angelic hosts and their demon enemies. The campaign is won when players achieve victory conditions listed in that mission. A skirmish game is won when all demons, including the fallen prince, are defeated in the final battle. And the game is lost if all the angels are defeated in battle. An angel is defeated when their health reaches 0. These 2 pages inside the rulebook detail out the setup of the game. This will get you going for skirmish. I'm going to go through a how to set up for this. And if you're playing campaign, then you're going to be taking note of this right here in the bottom right that tells you to follow the staging instructions instead further in the rulebook for steps 6 through 9 that are found in here. When we hit page 8 of the rulebook, you get into the how to play a round, and you're going to see the darkness phase listed out here. As you move through the rulebook, you're going to notice the illustrations are very well done. They are very large. You're going to be able to easily see where things are, and also they've got them numbered to tie into what they're talking about on those pages. On the left-hand side, this wraps up how to play a round, and then it starts getting into staging the final battle. And the staging of that battle continues on to further pages and has illustrations. The rulebook has iconography covered very well, has a nice section right here specific to it to learn all of them. You have the angels' actions and tests shown on these pages. As we get towards the end of the rulebook, we get into movement, adjacency, combat damage, range, and targeting. Again, illustrations even showing at the very bottom. One of the things about the rulebook that I really need to mention is the fact that things are organized extremely well. It's very easy to find things through the table of contents, and when you get to those certain sections, the rules that apply are going to be there. The illustrations are really well done as well, so you're not going to be bouncing around throughout the rulebook looking for specific things in different places. You now see details around controlling the forces of darkness, so it's things like activation, engagements, tiebreakers, blocking movement, all those kind of things. You get into the darkness cards themselves and how they trigger. And on the positive side of the equation, for the angels, of course, you have experience in leveling up, revivals, you have heavenly treasure that you can obtain. This area of the rulebook gets into the talent cards, which are for the angels as well as the demons. These pages detail the prayer cards as well as status effects like Blessed, Empower, Swift, Light, Cursed, Root, Wither, and Shadow, for example. The final 2 pages having game modes and variants listed out. You're going to see the 2 I mentioned earlier, campaign mode, which allows you to play multiple sessions all interconnected in a story. And then you have the campaign book going along with that. Then the skirmish is your one shot. If you want to set the game up and play and then put it away, this is going to be for you. So you got both ways to play and enjoy the game. Difficulty levels are awesome here. You have the ability to change things for the campaign and skirmish, and you'll see the varying levels of difficulty. So once you get familiar with the game, you want to start ramping things up for an extra challenge, you absolutely can do so. Deliverance is a very flexible game for a solo player. You can choose to control up to 4 angels if you wish, and in each case you follow the standard game rules shown, treating each of the angels as controlled by a separate player, but you can, as it mentions right at the top and through here, play as a true solo experience. And if you play just true solo, you'll be using the intercessor and you'll be applying all the following rules. As we head back in the game box, it is worth mentioning this is the deluxe version of Deliverance, and you'll see in here miniatures, and these ones are shaded, so they look really nice. I'll show you up close in just a moment. You'll also see spots here inside this insert for different things coming out of the punch boards to be placed in. The dice and miniatures of Deliverance look really good, and as we continue inside the box, we have another dashboard we'll open up and take a look at in a second. We also have what I believe is a campaign book below and a tray here. I pulled out a few components here. You'll see this one is a tray, so once we get through all the punch boards and punch everything out, we can place it all inside of a tray, keeping it all organized, easy for setup and teardown. And then here we have a two-sided board. We'll flip this over to the opposite side so you can see this side as well. The artwork on this, really nice. As we open up the coil-bound campaign book, you're going to see the campaign rules, how to avoid spoilers, how to level up, and track your campaign across the tracking sheet. And there's a couple of the pages I will show you. I won't go too deep in this as I want to avoid spoilers. As we continue on, we find the campaign mode progression. It has talents, levels, and slots all depicted right here to help you understand how that works as you progress through the campaign. You have your talents over here in further detail for the campaign mode, and the intercessor we talked about earlier when you're playing true solo and how those talent rules work. These are the final 2 pages I'll show you of the campaign book to avoid any future spoilers. This says other campaign-specific solo rules, so as you're playing a solo game, you'll want to read this. The challenges section of the campaign, a mystery box, which you're not supposed to open until the game tells you to, and then, of course, the campaign-specific FAQ, which is built right in, so if you have any questions, they might be answered right here. The rest of that campaign book has setup instructions for each of the sessions you'll do, as well as what you do in between as you move through the campaign. Now we'll head back inside the box here. We have a number of game tiles. I'll show you each side of all of these. I'll also show you some cards in here. I'll do my best to avoid any decks of cards that have massive spoilers, and I'll show you any components hidden in here. Out of the bottom layer of the box, I got the first handful of components. We have the game tiles here, dashboards, we have round order reference cards, we have the intercessor board we talked about earlier on, we were playing true solo, and we have the campaign tracker sheet. Here's the next components coming out of the box. Here is the box, which we're instructed not to open until the campaign book tells us to. But these dashboards right here, we'll take a look through. And that, my friends, wraps out the game unboxing video for Deliverance from Lowen Games. It's also worth mentioning, as part of the crowdfunding campaign this originally came from, there's also a number of other add-ons that could have been picked up, things like play mats and additional things and components that would enhance the experience overall. I do have these things, and as part of this showcase, I'll be showing you all of those aspects merged in as we dive into a skirmish. So join me in the next episode as we get into a how to set up video to show you how to get this thing to the table, and then we'll dive into a solo play. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.